Sure. Yeah.
So today is October 23rd, 2025. This is the OWASP AIBOM call number 4. Uh, I think we started not more than like a month ago, and we are definitely getting the traction in multiple places. In fact, somebody from Gen AI project, Steve Wilson, actually reached out saying that there are two banks in New Zealand and Australia. They want to actually contribute towards AI bomb itself. So definitely we are on the right track, picking up the right stuff for the right audience itself. Uh, I don't see Dharmesh on the call. Can we go back to the first slide, Anmol?
Sure.
Yeah. So next one. So for anybody who's new, I think like this is the agenda that we follow itself. We talked about project roadmap. We have a view of like leadership updates, talking about the most important stuff, which is the workstream updates. So we have 8 work streams defined, and I might share like another work stream that we're gonna stand up. And the last but not the least is around like any other business, right? If there is some news that you're aware of, or there is any issues or impediments that you have in your work stream itself, I think we need to actually talk about those things. And maybe there is any other opportunity. Maybe it's like a conference that is happening where AI bomb can actually be represented by anybody on the call. We should definitely talk about those. Next slide. I think Dharmesh, you want to actually take the next slide.
Yeah, so I think this was just some fun stuff which I did. You know who can do this? It is Bananas Gemini. Just playing around with things, right? So just put across the raw logo that was generated, and then asked it to kind of create it for multiple themes. It could be like as simple as Diwali, Halloween, Thanksgiving, something for like spring, something for summer. And you see on the top right, that is for the CyberSec Awareness Month in October. So yeah, just some fun stuff so that, when we have our full content strategy up, we can reuse these logos and probably these could serve as good stickers giveaways as well based on the season as such.
Yeah, I love this. Love this. Thanks for actually bringing the creative side of you on this project itself, right?
Just keep trying stuff. So yeah.
Okay. So this is more on like what we are trying to do. Like I think the transparency for what's happening right now when the model are getting created, when you're getting the data sets, right? So it's going to be an important aspect. Sorry, I'm a little distracted with other folks who are joining in, so I need to figure out a way to ensure like the waiting room is disabled. So going forward, we will have like a focus on the project growth itself. Again, these numbers might be small at this point in time, but this number is going to explode in the next month or so. There are like few things that are planned, and we are definitely getting the attention out there. So what we have, we are around like 8+ companies which are contributing. Again, the LinkedIn follows is not that much, but this number is going to go up. Number of Slack followers is definitely up there. But I think like collectively, if we talk about all these 15 people are on the call, right? So these are the contributors which actually further the mission of the project itself, right? But I think like one important starts or two important starts that are there, right? So when we announced the AI bomb, which was late August or maybe early September, the announcement itself got like around 4,400 like impressions, right? And this was not using all the tags, right? But even for this one, we have like 126 likes. When we created like an update, which was last week, it had like 2,700 impressions, 54 likes. So I think the number is going to grow more and more. And I was speaking to Anmol to ensure like we can actually put like a trend around this one, right? Where we were say like end of October and where we are in say mid of November, right? It's going to be important to talk about how we are actually furthering the mission itself. And out of these 8 companies that we are talking about, right, 2 are probably Fortune 100 or a Fortune 500, right? So it has attestation, indirect attestation for the work that we are doing, right? Getting noticed. Yeah, next screen. So Again, I shared about Steve Wilson from was Gen AI leadership itself reached out day before yesterday talking about there are two companies, two banks in New Zealand and Australia which are looking to contribute toward AI bombs. So he was gracious enough to actually connect those teams to our project itself. And more collaboration, more and more alliances are going coming down the pipe. So this is like a high level roadmap, project roadmap that we have. And again, these dates would definitely shift. I mean, like this is what my impression was. And again, like some of you might know, I execute and I try to execute fast. But I think in reality, because we are all volunteers, right? We have our day jobs. So these dates might shift based on the work that's happening in different work streams. And these dates are definitely there in the project page. If you go to the project page, you can actually see this. And I want everybody to actually look at this one and see how realistic these dates are, right? And if you feel like something needs to be fine-tuned or tweaked, definitely share it on the Slack channel or reach out to me. And call to action, I think like last call that we had, I was looking for somebody who can actually volunteer to ensure like all the meetings, updates, meeting schedule is in place. The recording that we talked about is happening, and we upload all these recordings back to the YouTube. So thank you, Anmol, for actually stepping into this one. This means a lot. I mean, like, again, you have your day job, but actually looking at this aspect, important aspect for our web presence is going to be important. Uh, Before we go to the next slide, there is one particular thing that I want to actually touch upon is we have like a lot of new faces on the call, so I would probably give 5 minutes for people to introduce themselves, like your background, where you're coming from, and what brings you to AI Bomb itself, right? And what kind of skills you bring to the table. So I'll just go through my screen itself. The first one that I see is Rajan.
Hello everyone. So my name is Rajan. I am from India, and I'm part of Red Hat for past 5 years, and I'm working on software security supply chain. And my recent work is closely coupled with SBOM, SBOM management, and the vulnerability correlation. So, and I'm part of quality engineering. So I'll be uh, kind of like what I say, what I bring is kind of like fixing up the standards and looking through the quality of the product. So that's what I bring up to the table. And I'm kind of like interested on how ABOM is going to, what to say, uh, going going to skyrocket it, because we are we are in the AI era, right? And models are definitely need a ABOM. So let's see how we gonna nail this down.
Oh, thank you, Rajan, for actually joining in. Good to have you. And even when Peter is back, I think you should still be on the calls itself, right? Next up is Daniel. Even though Daniel and I have spoken almost like 3 weeks ago, but I want Daniel to actually give an introduction from his side.
Sounds good. Thanks, Arnish. Hey, everyone. Daniel Bardenstein, CEO and co-founder of a company called Manifest. We're a startup that does SBOM management, end-to-end SBOM and supply chain security, government, Fortune 500. Specifically on AI bomb, I've been doing research and some development on AI bomb for the last 18 months or so. I've built an AI bomb generator. We've actually just launched a product around this, but again, I know we're not gonna won't become a product pitch, but if anybody's interested, just feel free to reach out to me directly and we can keep it outside of OWASP. So, but we, to our niche's point, we care a lot about building, so we've been already kind of investing early on early standards and development and workflows around this. And then I also serve as the one of the working sorry one of the leads of the CISA AI bomb working group, which is a little bit less active now than it was when we first kicked it off about a year ago. And so what I'm hoping to bring here is we've done some work over on the CISA side that while it's slowing down, we've already documented some AI bomb use cases. The next step was actually to start thinking about fields and like what sort of working with Cyclone DX and SPDX. What sort of information should we expect to put in AI bomb? That's stuff that I'm happy to bring over here. to kind of accelerate and get out. And then I'm also engaged with regulators across the U.S. government around AI bomb policy. And so my hope is to connect policymakers and builders and consumers and voluntary groups like this one who can help. We can all work together to do education, to get these standards and important concept out, and then get those out to the communities of users and builders and policymakers. So I'm I'm very, very deep on this stuff, which is why I'm very excited that Arnish put this together and excited to work with you all. And again, if anyone's interested in some of the actual stuff we've built, happy to talk about it outside of this group. But thanks for having me, Arnish. Appreciate it.
Daniel, thank you. And again, I cannot be more happy than what you just said about like connecting to the policymakers. I think that's an area that we are slightly behind. We had somebody who was going to actually lead that particular thing, but it seemed like we have not been able to actually reach out to her. But I think like me and you can actually at least start on that. And when Tiffany starts coming in, she can actually lead the effort. But I think like I'm kind of backfilling for absence of Tiffany at the moment, right? But I think like having you on the call itself and then what you have built within CISA and otherwise, I think it's going to be important stuff. And just one particular thing that I do want to say, right, because these calls are recorded, and I do want to actually give credit back to CISA on this one. I think I've connected to Alan. I was a co-chair for one of the working groups when SBOM executive order was there, right? So I think this is not like a duplication. It's like add-on of what was accomplished in CISA itself. And I understand like there are some challenges on CISA itself where it cannot further the mission at the pace it was previously doing. So it's going to be important to ensure we are aligning with everybody who was part of CISA, all these volunteers. And I know at least half of them from my SBOM days, right? So thank you, Daniel, for coming in, right? Next up is a good friend of mine who I met in Project Summit in London last year. So John.
Thanks, Arnish. I'm John McCoy. I'm a security engineer. 15 years in enterprise security, focused on ML and fintech. And I'm really interested in baking security into the software development lifecycle of our engineers. And I see SBOM as one of those feeders in that needs to be in the SDLC for secure software. And I'm excited to be in OWASP projects and big supporter of advocating for bringing security to the wider community through projects like this. And my focus right now is definitely ML and trying to figure out how we adopt this into enterprise. And yeah, and yeah, if anyone is building out infrastructure, hardware, software, full stack, I work across the full enterprise, and I support people professionally, just people that want support in the community. So I'm always a support and happy to chat resource. So yeah, and longtime OWASP member, like 10, 15 years. So yeah. So thanks very much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, John, for joining in. And next up, I think there's a new face that I've not contacted before, Binal. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name right.
Yeah, it's right only. Hey, hello everyone. So I'm from India. I'm working in CISA information security as a senior specialist from past 7+ years. So I'm working as a application security engineer. So mostly I have worked in application penetration testing, red teaming, and now building a AI tool to securing the LLM and the securing the AI. Also, parallelly, we are building the tool for the supply chain security, where the SBOM, AI bomb, and the hardware bomb is the key integral part, because now the in India certain has regularized all those things like bill of material. So we are aligned with the certain on the same, and we are working on. So that's why I was already connected with the OWASP community from quite a long time in the security groups, multiple security groups. So now excited to part of this community and to do some contribution and to network with the people.
This is good. I think having like foot on the ground in India side also, because so many other regulations in that region is going to be important for us. So Good to have you on board.
Yes, yeah, RF also, like from the financial, a lot of financial body has regulated the supply chain security.
I think maybe we can actually connect offline on this one. I do want to actually look at all the regulations that are there in the Asia Pacific region in India itself, right?
Yeah.
Like in the policy work stream, we want to actually ensure like we have a list of all these regulations which have anything to do with AI bomb.
Mm. Yes.
Welcome. Next up, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name right or wrong. Erez?
Yeah, you pronounce it perfectly. So yeah, my name is Erez Yalon. I'm the VP of Security Research at Checkmarks for the last 10 plus years. In addition, I'm the founder of the AppSec Village at DEF CON that recently was added to the RSA conference as well. Lifetime member of OWASP, part of the OWASP Events Committee and leader of several projects. One of them is the API security project I founded several years ago. I'm here because what we learned in the last 15 or more years in application security and recent focus on security of supply chain, of software supply chain, is that while bill of materials are never the full solution, they're always the first step, always the necessary first step. So with new technologies, we need new flavors of bill of materials and making sure that we have visibility, and I'm here to contribute as much as I can.
Oh, welcome, Erez. And I personally know a couple of folks from Checkmarks, so I probably can attest to like all the good work Checkmarks is doing. So welcome.
Thank you.
And last but not the least, I had a ping from Victor yesterday. Victor, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm based in Tampa, Florida. I worked at Oracle database guy for 30 years, 17 years at Oracle USA. In the open source community for the last 3 years, participating in bill of material discussion, primarily in the SPDX community, but been participating in the OWASP community for the past more than a year now. Yeah, just interested learning.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Victor, for joining. So I think we can actually go back to the deck.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, we can go to the next one. So I think for folks who are new, so when we started off almost like a month ago, we talked about what work streams make sense, right? What is going to be important. And if the font is a little smaller, I apologize. But I think so we kind of looked at every aspect of a bill of material effort itself, right? So it actually is divided into like multiple areas, right? So it's like your requirements, why are we doing something, right? Then it talks about like what kind of format exists from a field perspective, which I think we were just talking about in few minutes ago, right? What kind of tooling is there, like what kind of quality attestation inventory that would be required to actually you should be able to actually share a bill of material transparently, or sometimes you need like a legal binding agreements on this one. The policy which we are talking about earlier in the initial part itself, right? That's going to be an important area. Content, how we actually present the information, how we connect to the community itself. And last but not the least, for the foundational best practices, right? So these are like the 8 work stream that we had defined, and we have like a bunch of people who either volunteer to lead this particular effort or are like working towards this one along with the lead itself. Yeah, next slide. So one of the things that we realize with more and more of these alliances and companies coming to align themselves, we might need a separate work stream to have like a dedicated focus on this one, right? And it might overlap with a couple of work streams, whether it's policy or sponsorship, but there's going to be concerted effort to actually focus on alliances so that we can actually connect to companies, connect to organizations which are looking to actually consume or contribute towards AI bill of material project itself. So this is going to be a new work stream. So moving from a work stream update, I think maybe I'll hand it over to Manoj, Dharmesh, and Anmol to actually cover this one. And just before Dharmesh, you start, I think one thing that we're going to start doing, not on this call, but maybe next call, we're going to actually ensure we are giving at least 5 to 7 minutes to a particular work stream, like to be the highlight of that particular week, talking about what's happening in their work stream, and we'll go and do a round robin, right? So let's say next week we focus on the prerequisites. The next week we can actually focus on the formats and then maybe the tooling, right? So that at a community level, people understand that the effort is happening and this is where it's trending towards, right? So over to the prerequisites team.
So I'll start and probably, Anmol, Manoj, Venkat, you all chime in, based on the stuff that we're doing, right? So basically, team, what the intention of the prereq work stream was the fact that, we wanted to not reinvent the wheel. That was the fundamental aspect, right? And see what best can be reused. And wherever there is a gap, right? That is where our work stream, or rather the whole AI bomb project, should rather focus on, and then take it from forward from there, and see opportunities where there is a possibility of integration, see opportunities where there is a gap, and then that is where the foundational aspects, the standardization and the tooling work streams will then take over from there. So I don't know if Anmol or Manoj can probably project that document. I'll give a very quick skim through of that, and explain our thought process and the research that has gone behind this. The whole intention or the whole outcome of this work stream is fundamentally going to be the gaps, and these gaps predominantly fall into three major domains. One is the architecture, which is the information that is captured around the model itself. Second is around the data, which is a major gap that we have observed so far. And probably the folks who joined today can resonate with that. And this is kind of becoming very prominent, especially in the BOM world for AI, right? Whether it is ML BOM or as such, provenance and integrity has become like a major deal breaker as such. And third, of course, being from a risk function or a security governance function, that also adds a lot of weightage. So far, whatever bombs are there, right, in market, these all focus on the component aspect or the package aspect, right? But here there is definitely a play for data and the model parameters also to kind of chime in. And that is where this prerequisite stream is going to lay that foundation or the outcome for this. Anmol, Manoj, you want to add something, or anyone has any questions around this?
Manoj, do you want me to share the
Yes,
document?
yeah,
Or
please go ahead and share the document.
yeah, you can walk us through the document.
Precisely. Anmol, Manoj, you want to walk through a quick
Uh,
glimpse around this document? What is it? How is it structured as such?
Anmol, please go ahead. Or Venkata.
Yeah. Yeah. Tej, would you like to walk us through this document?
There is another one as well. So basically, what we
Oh,
did
okay.
was, as Dharmesh mentioned, we wanted to identify the gaps. So what exactly exists in the SBOM, and how it uh, um, how it gets transformed into AI SBOM. So that's where our our study went in, and we identified that the dynamic nature of the AI SBOM, that's where we had to do more analysis. And we identified, as Dharmesh mentioned, that we had three work streams. The data in the practical purposes, what you identified was, you can go to the end of the document probably. So
Sure.
The
we
end of the
identified.
document.
Yeah. So basically, we're making some studies on the Cyclone DX formats and SPDX formats, and in specific to the implementations of the uh, how it's relevant to the AI itself. Um, what we identified was in the practical purposes, what we saw is in the data set preparation for the model creations. That's where we need some kind of support or some extensions to the Cyclone DX and Cyclone DX format, and also as Dharmesh mentioned that in the data characteristics, data integrity, and the provenance space, we need some kind of extensions or more study in these areas. That's where we are going to focus on the next steps.
Yeah, I mean, just to add one more point, right? See, the idea behind this is, since this group, this project, right, it is going to be a standard, right? And we want to lay those guidelines in place, which say that, okay, hey, even if you are using Cycling DX, right, these are the potential gaps. And if you need an extension, if you need some additional tooling around this, that is where we lay that basis as a standard, right? As an AI bomb standard, that is what we want to inculcate, and that is what we want to advocate. Arunesh, please guide us, or help us if we are on the right track. If there is any thought that needs deviation, please let us know.
Absolutely. And I think like Venkata, you were kind of unmuting. I just want to ensure like I'm not
I
missing
mean,
out
so
anyone.
actually Manoj explained the part. I mean, so that's our first focus is on the data side of things. So yeah, I mean, just want to raise that point. But yeah, Manoj covered it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that Mesh, I think like you're definitely on the right track. And there is another aspect which actually I realized that we talk about Cyclone DX and SPDX, right? And these are projects which some of them may be existing within OWASP, some might be existing outside. So I think having a collaboration with them, and again, like from a Cyclone DX, I know most of the folks on that side. So I'll probably speak to Steve if he can have somebody from his team or himself that can come on this particular call and look at our findings itself and looking at like addressing those things on their end itself, right? So definitely, I think like what's happening on your front in prerequisites and possibly in formats is definitely going in the right direction. I see Daniel has his hand up.
Yeah, sorry to step away for a sec, but just hearing a little bit coming back. For what it's worth, I'm in the middle, so slash it's taking me a little bit too long of actually authoring the what will hopefully be the authoritative guide for generating AI bombs in Cyclone DX, working with Steve. So happy to be that conduit, but we should definitely bring in Steve. But if there's anything I can help connect with there, happy to.
Oh, that's good. That's actually good, right? I think, and that's why like the cross collaboration with other foundation, other projects is going to be an important part, right? I think like we should not be developing or doing anything in isolation. So,
Yeah.
so thanks for that.
I mean, also, Arnish, as you exactly mentioned, in 1.7, the recent Cyclone DX version, also they included data side of things already. So we can actually also take things from there. So exactly, I think you're right. I mean, we can cross take a lot of things from already what's been there.
So,
So
anything else? Sorry.
I can help with the SPDX side of things, but I'm wondering if there's a like a table that describes all the differences with regards to Cyclone DX and SPDX. Because SPDX already has like a AI profile that could be improved on.
So I've seen one or two of these versions. I have an incomplete one myself. I'll see what I can get and send over, Nisha. But yeah, both what some of us have already seen is like both our styles. So SPDX 3.0 has an AI profile, which is a model profile and a data profile. Cyclone DX starting in 1.6 has they still have machine learning components and data set components or data components. Neither of them are fully comprehensive or complete, and they disagree on certain things or have slight differences. So I will send you over, I'll try to track down what I've seen before, but that might be a good outcome of this group is to have some sort of more canonical, like 1.7 versus 3.0. What do they agree on? What do they disagree on? I don't think anyone's quite done that yet.
Awesome. Thank you. I am on the Slack channel, so if you want to send it to me there,
Sounds
fine.
good.
Okay. Thank you.
Derek, I think like if there is such a document, I think you should actually work with Dharmesh also. He's leading the format working group or a work stream itself. So we're tracking all of that.
Sounds good. Yeah,
And
I can just share it in the OWASP channel or the AI bomb channel in OWASP, so everybody has access to it.
awesome. And I think like what Nisha actually pointed out, it's an important aspect, right? Doing the gap analysis, where we are, what needs to be addressed. And again, the focus for AI bomb is not just limited to the format itself, right? It's slightly more comprehensive, looking at the tooling, the best practices, and the most important piece is the policy aspect, right? How do you ensure like all of this, the good work that we are doing makes sense, right? Because if it is sitting inside in some silo itself and it's not part of any regulations or any policy, I mean, like, the goal is not achieved.
Yeah, and just on the side note, like if like based on our discussions on work streams today, if you're not part of any work stream, like every work stream, they have a separate, I think, Slack uh, uh, channel. So you just reach out to one of the people from those work streams, and they can add you to the channel, and you can be part of those discussions. So like Daniel and Nisha, we can add you to the prerequisites work stream. Okay.
Okay, I think we can move on to the next one. Damesh, do you know, give like a little color? I know you have been dedicating a lot of time on the prerequisites, but you might have sidestepped. Let's actually go to the next one and we can actually come back
Yeah.
to the formats.
Yeah, so he has actually put a side note on the top right hand side. So it's temporarily on the back burner because it's dependent on the prerequisites. So once we have some sizable outputs from the prerequisites, maybe we'll start with the formats side.
Okay, so we'll actually focus
Yeah.
on this once the prerequisite bit is complete.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, UV, you're still there, so maybe you can actually pick up the tooling side of things.
Yeah, on the tooling, we will, like we decided, this has a dependency on the formats group, but for the larger audience and the new members that are there, this particular work stream is looking at what is, like, it does not reinvent the ABOM creation or consumption tools, but it looks at how it can provide a MVP or a plugin that can be used as a template or a, like I said, as a plugin on existing tools, and more um, guide as a good practice on what it means to consume the formats that's coming out of the ABOM project itself. This is currently, this is the same status from our previous call. This will have slight dependency on a big dependency on the formats, and the roadmap of this is to evolve.
Okay. Yeah. So for content side, Dharmesh had created a structure for a site uh, out there, and then also we over this past week we discussed about building a presence on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and also extending the discussion we had in the previous call and the point raised by Nisha about educating people about AI bill of materials. Why is this project important? uh, and some of the topics around it. We have created a content plan for next 30 days, and then later that after that. Uh, so we are planning on posting a video, like a short explainer on YouTube, like a video a week, or like 3 to 4 videos a month. Also, we are planning on having uh, some webinars on maybe LinkedIn Live and on YouTube, maybe after a month from now. Just having more, like just giving more color and light to the topics and the work that we are doing, and explaining it to the people who are not part of the project right now, but would like to know what we are doing. So yeah, that's the content plan as of now. But yeah, please chime in if there are particular topics that you would want us to uh, produce content on.
And a big shout out to Anmol itself, right? So, I mean, he started last week itself, even though he has been contributing, but last week he kind of stepped into the content along with Dharmesh itself, and he has formalized so many different things, right? And again, content might not be the most interesting stuff, right? Again, like if you're coming from marketing, it definitely makes sense. But if you're a technical guy, the content itself may not be that exciting. But Anmol, thank you to you. And again, like I've worked with you for the past couple of days, and you have really stepped up the game. So I cannot thank you enough on this one.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah. So, okay. Moving forward, yeah, foundational best practices.
So from our previous meeting, we had a couple of topics planned, which was on the roles and responsibilities, and also finishing the threat landscape and taxonomy. Thanks to also Sai, we have managed to complete these two chapters, and the next week, the next week we are looking at how we can get the AI bomb lifecycle completed. And there are references pointing again to Cyclone DX and the other SBOM lifecycle. We want to sort of consolidate there. Another key point that is also coming up, also observation from Nisha, is that there are certain aspects that will come from the traditional SBOM, and the AI bomb will build on top of that. One of the things could be the package dependency and the vulnerabilities associated to that. I think there we will further brainstorm and get those chapters out. In general, I think the timeline that we are looking at for November is still uh, currently optimistic. We are looking at least uh, the pre-release version uh, by end of November, which we still want to stick to that and see how much we can get things out there. And I think towards the last week of November is where we will need more hands, where for mostly for review and update, and bringing a lot of different authors together, so that we know, I mean, that the version that is going out first as the version 1.0 is setting the standard, and it's also on par or even better than some of the things that are already there. And this, we believe, can become the authoritative guide from the IBOM project itself. I think their things are on track, and looking forward to looking this now.
Thank you, V. I mean, like I'm really glad this is progressing at a pace that I didn't even anticipate. So thanks for leading this one. And I think like one thing that came to my mind, again, Anmol and Dharmesh talked about the content itself. I think the content is not like something in the future, right? I mean, if we can actually think about even without having WordPress or something else, right? Let's see how we can actually put the structure together, how we can actually present the information in maybe in a big page or maybe sub pages itself. So definitely, I think we should connect offline with Anmol and Dharmesh on this one, right?
Yeah.
And feel free to actually create a separate Slack channel, like a private Slack channel on this one. You have like a very dedicated focus group on this, and you can actually share the link for that private channel with others so that they can actually join.
Definitely, there's already a channel. I'll share the link to that. We are also looking at if it makes sense to have given the timeline, to have a shorter cadence, so that we are able to get more hands-on to get the content for the foundational best practices V1 itself. So I'll put it also here on the group, and I'll share in the authors group as well.
And I like the focus that you're bringing to the table and having like maybe a weekly or a bi-weekly sprint itself, right? I think the cadence is going to be important if we want to accomplish everything that we're talking about by, say, February or mid-March itself, right? So thank you for actually leading this one.
Yeah.
Any questions, anyone on this one or any other work stream?
Anish, I mean, just another point is for vulnerability scoring, which is like the key aspect of SBOM. For AI bomb, one big challenge is that, I mean, for SBOM, you have National Vulnerability Directory and you have like different databases, which we is a common databases for vulnerabilities, but that's a challenge in AI bomb. Maybe in the team, if someone already has maybe Daniel experience of having a database which already has this common AI vulnerabilities or risks somewhere listed, we can use that as also in our scoring approach. So maybe that could be one topic under any of the existing work streams that can be listed on so that it might be useful going forward.
Oh, Venkat, there is AI scoring is there from the OWASP project only.
Okay, but
Yeah.
is it
We
a database
can,
with the vulnerabilities, with the common vulnerabilities in AI in general, or is it
no, there is
just a
no
scoring
database.
mechanism or a
Just a
framework?
scoring mechanism, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I think there
And
is one database which is known outside. I'm forgetting the name itself, right? That is one particular source. And what Binal mentioned about AI VSS, I think we can actually collaborate with Ken, who
yeah,
leads that particular initiative itself. And I think a great deal of work is happening on that particular front. And if you feel that, oh, we might need X, Y, and Z, these particular requirements can be fed into the other project, right? Where they
Okay,
might be looking at only a subset of the problem, right? And our requirement is slightly more comprehensive. So that collaborative aspect beyond AI bomb is going to be useful, right? So, so I
definitely,
think Venkata, if you want, I can actually connect you to Ken and we can actually talk about this particular requirement and try
sure,
to see how we actually bring it in.
definitely. Thank you, Anish.
yeah. Venkat, we can connect. We have something in, like, we were researching on something, so I have something in mind how we can work on it.
Awesome. Thank you, Binal. We'll definitely connect with you.
Awesome.
I have, sorry, and Anish, I raised my hand.
Yes.
Um, in the last week call, Dharmesh mentioned that about a tool for validating of the AS bomb. You we mentioned that it's part of some formats or tooling. Is it mentioned explicitly, or is it covered as another action item or planned item?
There is another work stream which is specifically focused on the quality and attestation for those things. And
Mm-hmm.
in fact, like there is another aspect which is a big part of operationalizing this one around how do you inventorize all of this, right? Let's
Uh-huh.
say you are like a vendor, you're like a consumer, right? So there needs to be some sort of a pub sub model where all the legalities which are going to be important, right? Like you don't want to be silently sharing your SBOM or AI bomb
Correct.
to a third party, right? So there needs to be some sort of a NDA, some sort of a legal language around the sharing and stuff. If there is a breach of confidentiality, right? How do you tackle that one? So there is a different work stream, and I'm looking for somebody to come and volunteer for that one and lead that particular effort. But there's definitely a line item, rather like a work stream dedicated for that one. I see.
This is this is Abhinav.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yeah, I had actually signed up for that, but I was actually traveling from last 2 weeks for basically integrity slash quality. So I'm catching up this week. So I'll have some startup updates from next week, and then we can maybe I can set up a one-on-one with you to get caught up on the last 2 weeks updates on
Absolutely.
the topics.
I think,
Yeah,
yeah. I think the
yeah,
more and more people who can actually step up and like lead stuff is going to be important how quickly we can actually deliver. So I think, yeah, let's set some time maybe after this call and go through what is the requirement and how we want to deliver towards that.
sounds good.
Yeah. So for the policy work stream, last week it was unattended, and uh, 2 days back I sort of stepped in to start some work in this. Uh, so if you're interested in working in this work stream, let me know. I so th What I've done this week is like I for my other open source project that I've been working for, I had created a list of AI regulations and policies and frameworks that are currently enacted or are in works, and sort of created a list from that for where AI bomb would make sense, or like if it mentions AI bill of materials, or if the regulation itself would uh, make sense more with the inclusion of AI bill of materials. So that list is ready, and yeah, for next week, as of now, um, plan is to analyze gaps in those regulations, and then also any industry specific guidances, frameworks, like in finance industry, there's SR 11.7 letter for model risk governance. And similarly in healthcare, there are different regulations or like guidances. So uh, basically include that also into this database that we have. And yeah, Daniel, if you if you want to work with us in this work stream, please chime in. And also yeah, would like to talk to you about the policy side of things.
I think Anmol, I think from a content and also from a community perspective, I think we should
Mhm.
definitely have like a dedicated Slack channel for this one, a private Slack channel.
Yes. Yeah.
So do create and invite a bunch of names that you just mentioned to ensure
Yeah.
we kickstart on this one. And I
Yeah.
think in the next week or maybe next to next week, we should have like an overview session on like the intended goals for the policy itself, right? And I think if you go to the next
Sure.
slide, there is a little bit color on this one, right? Like from a policy perspective, it's not just looking at being aware of different policy, right? The bigger intent is to actually speak to the regulators, speak to
Yeah.
policymakers in different regions, not just within US or India, right? Europe is a big
Yeah.
market, Middle East is another market, with stuff that's coming from Australia and New Zealand. I think like penetration in all those regions is going to be important because like we said before, right? Developing anything in
Yeah.
isolation serves no one, right? If you actually
Yeah.
bring the interested parties, it's going to be important.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I'll create a Slack channel. Yeah.
And I think
Okay.
Abhinav also reached out to you. Definitely include Abhinav on this one. Daniel already mentioned Binal from India. I think there are a lot of people who are going to be instrumental on this aspect.
Sure.
Okay, so last but not the, I think, no, there is one more work stream, but I think like we talked about the alliances and collaborations. So there is a new work stream, which I think is going to be important. I don't have like a concrete set of goals and outcomes, what I intend from this particular work stream, but I think the intent is to like increase the collaboration with other industries, other policymakers, other foundations like OpenSSF and other stuff, right? So it's more of like how quickly can organization adopt AI bomb within your respective organization, right? So the example that we initially talked about, Steve Wilson talking about like let's collaborate with these two banks in New Zealand and Australia. I think this goes on those lines. So if you go to the next slide, I think there is like a high level view of like what I intend to do, like focus on the industry partnership and collaboration with universities. I think there are a lot of research that's happening in universities and in different parts. So it's going to be good to tap into those resources and cross-sector engagement, right? Which we talk about, like cross collaboration with other foundation. Like even if it's happening within OWASP, right, doesn't mean we cannot collaborate with the Linux Foundation and OpenSSF. And collaboration with CISA and ENISA, all those things are going to be important. And that's what this alliances and collaboration workstream is going to be geared towards. And if anybody on the call has done any industry engagement, I know Dalian definitely is up there, but anybody who has experience doing this, love to actually collaborate on this more and more. Abhinav, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, Arinish, question. So the collaboration work would happen after we have put something together, or you would want to get started now? Because like uh, in some of the aspects, we created content, and what we did is like in other groups, we created content, and what we did is we started first seeking basically feedback within the OWASP org to get a feedback and streamline what we have created as a guidance. And then after that, we started, like once we published it, we started having that collaboration or industry engagement through conferences and XYZ. So is that what you are envisioning, or you're envisioning that as we build this up, we start basically reaching out people and getting inputs and see how basically how they would want to adopt this?
I think it's a good question that you asked. And if you truly ask me, I want to run it more agile. Like you don't want to actually create something and then go to regulators and policymakers and they are already flipping out. Oh, this is not what we are expecting, right? So engaging
Yeah,
them while we are building stuff, right?
great. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, there are quite a few, you know, policy organizations which are working on policies. There are a few organizations which are contributing to standards in ISOs. I think we can start connecting and targeting with them. I have few connections with few people who are kind of involved. Maybe we can. I think the first thing we should do is kind of get the list of people whom we can reach out, then kind of filter them who would be the right person and when and how, and then I guess from there we can move forward.
Yeah, yeah. And just one thing that I do want to actually clarify. So there is a policy and there is a collaboration, two different work streams, right? The policy is specifically focused on the policymakers. The collaboration is everything that we can actually do at an industry level, right? Whether
All
it's
right.
banking, insurance, universities, all those aspects, right?
Understood. Okay.
But I think you're spot on this one. I think the earlier that we start, the better our results are going to be in line with what their expectations are, right? And recently, I was attending like open source congress in Brussels, and one of the things that I realized, not from an AI bomb initiative, but more from a CRA perspective, I think there is engagement at that level already happening, right? So this is exactly what we need for AI bomb to get acceptance. Okay, I know we have 3 more minutes left. Sponsorship workstream, there is not significant update, but I think from a deck perspective, like deck is more or less like finalized, and the deck has been shared with at least 4 different vendors out there who are very interested in collaborating and sponsoring the project. And I would only share the names once everything is formalized, the legal paperwork is done. And there might be 1 or 2 people on the call who are helping in that aspect. I cannot name anyone on that, but I think like it's definitely going in the right direction. So more and more updates as we go along. So I'll likely share. And just one thing, the goal for the end of the year is like around 50K. And based on the traction that we are getting, I think we'll definitely surpass this very easily. But just one thing for anybody who's either like a vendor or know of a vendor who are operating in this particular space, definitely connect the vendor to the team itself. Right now, it's just me, but definitely make those introductions and we'll take it to the next level. Yep, exactly. So I think like call to action for this particular week. We definitely have the content workstream, but I think if anybody who's interested in like leading the website development hosting effort, whether it's WordPress or any other stuff, definitely do that. And again, the second one is kind of way too early for this one, but anybody who can actually help with the language translation, because the what we are creating is not just supposed to be only in English, right? Similar to what's happening in the Gen AI project, which is like has translations for multiple languages. We want somebody who can actually lead this particular effort. If anybody is interested, message me and we can actually talk on this aspect. Yeah, I think I'll just open it to the floor. Any questions, any ideas from anyone on the call, right?
One comment, if it's not already part of the contents work stream, to have something as a preparatory step where we have templates. For example, when the foundation and best practices guide comes out, if we have a template, how the cover page would look like, the header, footer, and so on, so that we are aligned and we can use that across the different content, be it an image that is on LinkedIn, or other collaterals can talk the same language, and we have that way a very similar look and feel across all documents, and something that represents the AIBOM project itself. Maybe that can be a call to action for the next meeting. Yeah.
Sure,
I don't know if it's
yeah,
already
I
covered.
can take it. No, we hadn't thought of it, but thank you for raising the point. We'll definitely come up with yeah, template for that, which is like could be used for all of our contents.
Sure. I mean, keeping the guide in mind, I also have certain thoughts. I mean, please feel free to add me to the content group, and we can see how we can work together on that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think one thing that we should do before we forget, the goals and outcomes that we have aligned for the content working group, let's just make sure this requirement is added, and then definitely execute on what we just mentioned.
Sure.
Anybody else, mainly for the new folks? I think, Victor, we didn't actually hear from you. Any feedback, any comments from your end?
Yeah, I'm just curious because I said I'm a I'm a generalist, so I'm not expert in either area. Yeah, SPDX has gone through a lot of discussion already. I think Nisha is probably gonna brought that discussion over. Yeah, but it's good, interesting discussion. So there are some actually the SPDX 3.1 is being released pretty soon. Are you open to like discussion from like whoever is really expert in that area?
Yeah, if you know of like folks who are expert in that particular area, and if they are willing to join, bring them over. We'd love to actually collaborate with them. And between Dharmesh and I'm not sure like who else was on the format group itself. I mean, like I want them to actually collaborate closely. Awesome. If no other comments, I know we are 2 minutes over, so apologies for that one. If no other questions, we can actually close the call.